first sip of the day. And they have stevia. You know, you don't see that very often. Like, they have a bunch of different, you know, sweeteners. And I think stevia is one of the better ones. And they also, each time you buy something, they give you this little coupon. So with this coupon, instead of like $1.80, a small cup of coffee is $1. And they just scan this code and you can reuse it. So I have a couple of these lying around. So if somebody's in Calgary, just stop by, I'll give you one. So you can save a whopping 80 cents. But it's a small cup. So yeah, much better to use your own mug. In other news, I really need to get back to the gym. Because I stopped doing that Monday, Wednesday, Friday when I was doing stamina training, you know, like hiking, Scandinavian, Nordic walking, or in Russian it's Skandinavskaya ходьба. So that was ideal. Like I thought, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Nordic walking or biking or running, and Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, the gym. And then I got lazy, and right away I see my belly starts growing. I go on the scale yesterday, 190. Well, it doesn't help that quite often somebody leaves some free snacks in the lounge, you know, in our dining room there. You know, you see some oatmeal cookies or some pies, you know. And then the other day I had a pizza, so basically, yeah, time to get back to the program. So today's Wednesday, so I brought my hiking poles with me and my hiking boots. And so once I'm done with work, on the way home there's a nice huge kind of like a sports grounds, you know, like where kids play soccer, and it's like huge open area. And I was there before, and it takes whole 10 minutes to walk all around on the edge. So it's pretty much like a kilometer, I think. So I usually do like 3 circles, you know, 30 minutes. And with these hiking poles, you know, you burn much more calories than when you just walk. But that's the goal. Yeah, I need to lose the weight, because for my height, anything over 180 pounds is overweight. So I'm 10 pounds overweight. I'm a fat guy now. Well, I'm at work doing my first run in the mighty Freightliner. I have 2 small 19-footer scissor lifts, and I loaded them side by side. So this way you only use 2 chains total instead of 4 if you put them like this, you know. So I put them side by side. Now these guys have been here for a long time, trying to create some kind of a, you know, ground for future construction. What they did not notice that there's a river here. So once they started digging, water appeared everywhere. But so now instead of all of this, it looks like they're gonna be using only maybe 1/3 of that spot. But somebody screwed up, you know. Somebody wanted to probably to build a bunch of warehouses over here without checking the ground for water. I don't know. So my first stop is a grocery store just northwest of us, 8 kilometers, 5 miles. So I'm dropping one of the scissors on the dock, and then I'm gonna rechain the remaining scissor and head down south to the it's pretty much like Chinook Mall area, Barlow Trail, and what is it, somewhere there, somewhere near Chinook Mall. Hopefully the traffic will not be too crazy because it's still early. It's just after 7. I got the tags, you know, like each machine usually has a tag ready to rent, and it'll have the unit number, how many hours it has, and the employee number, who did the check and when, the date. But I screwed up and I parked one of the machines. The screen where the hours are is on the inside, so they sit like this. So I couldn't write the hours. I wrote the unit number like I'm supposed to write on my paperwork which machine I'm delivering, so that, you know, they know which machine left the warehouse, and they can update it on their system that particular machine is no longer available, right? So they should always know how many machines of that particular size or model they have ready to rent, right? And so it's always important to write down the unit number. And then hours helps them track, you know, how many hours the customer uses. I don't know if they charge them for hours or not. But we do hours for electric machines, and then if it's something with an engine, right, we note down how much gas or diesel is in the tank when I pick it up. So then we can see how much they've used. And so yeah, so now I have to remember when I take the chains off and I move that machine, I gotta look at the screen and I write down the hours. So the weather is good, but it's feels a bit chilly, +7. Okay, Shell $1.88.9, same as there. Diesel $2.10.9. I know if somebody from England is watching this, they're crying, because last I've heard that diesel was $3.50 a liter in Canadian dollars. Just saw in the news in the States, people come up with all kinds of creative ideas for transportation to save gas. They say one guy customized a toy car. You know those cars, like a plastic car 4 feet tall that kids drive around, like it's electric? And so what this smart guy did was he took a engine from a lawnmower, like 1-cylinder gas engine, and he hooked it up to this cart/car, and he says there's a pull cord, just like, you know, when you start a lawnmower. So there's no starter, there's no key, you just pull a cord and it's ready to rock and roll. And he uses he uses it to buy groceries. I don't know how legal it is to drive a toy car like that. Of course he has no license plate, right? I think he can get a big fine, you know, which will be much bigger than the money he saved from his gas bill. But that's just one story I read, which is funny. But yeah, gas and fuel prices are crazy everywhere here, and I cannot believe that just, I don't know, 2 months ago, 3 months ago, over here gas was $1.14 per liter, and then it jumped 15 cents to $1.29, and then it became $1.35, $1.50, $1.65, boom, now it's $1.90 pretty much. Crazy. Like, I still don't understand why our prices are so sensitive to what's going on the other side of the world, you know? Like, we have our own oil in Alberta, right? Our own gas, diesel fuel. And the other day when they increased the price, so it was, let's say, $1.85. Then I show up at that Shell. Now I see it's $1.88. And I said, when did you guys increase the prices? They said this morning. It was an email from the head office. Okay, and I said, when was the last time the tanker was here to put gas in your underground storage? She says, yesterday. So they got the fuel the day before at the same old price, right? And then the next morning they increased the price. So they still have the same fuel. Let's say they paid, I don't know, wholesale $1.50 for, $1.50 per liter, and they still increase the price even though they still have the fuel at old prices. That just shows you how greedy these oil companies are. Oh, I'm going on 201, okay. Oh yeah, I guess I need the next, not this, but the next shopping center. 3.3 kilometers left. And I'm guessing after this I can just take 201 down south. Take 201 to Glenmore Trail and then Glenmore Trail east. Yes, Miss Google. Any more suggestions? Oh yeah, that's what I was waiting for, because I'm taking a ramp to 201, so I was not sure. Am I going west or east? That clarifies it. I'm going west, yes, because I was a bit confused. And my Freightliner, the older one, is still nowhere to be seen. Still in the shop. It's been a bad year for that truck. So many repairs. It probably spent more time in the shop this year than on the road. Transmission, PTO, now the emission system.
Take exit 52, then use the right lane to take the ramp to 14th Street Northwest.
Okay, one thing I've been wondering about, like, there's a truck ahead of me. It looks like it's a water truck, and it says water only. And then under that,
the ramp to 14th Street Northwest.
it says do not push. And I always see that stupid sign on dump trucks. On the back tailgate it says do not push. So can somebody tell me what the heck they mean by that? Like literally push, or push like try to make him go faster? Like do not push. Like why would you push a water tanker, you know? So if somebody knows, please write in the comments. Because of course the words are simple, I understand the phrase do not push, right? But why would somebody push a dump truck or a water tanker? But that's where I see these signs, you know. Okay, and that yellow building, that's our destination. No frills, except I don't think I ever unloaded at the dock here, so I have to go around Oh, this shell is 5 cents cheaper, $1.84.9 than the other shell. See, you move 2 kilometers, you can save 5 cents per liter. Diesel is still $2.10.9. And this area, I often come here with scaffolding because it's all new construction, new houses, townhouses. Like this spot grows every day. Okay, so somewhere here.
Turn right, then turn left.
Okay, we're gonna kill this because I think it's on the other side probably. Oh no, it's right here. Oh, cool. I can see the wall. Usually that's what it looks like, the dock. This one here on the left. Yep, I'm a genius. Except normally, yeah, only one dock is open. Like these guys, they always have 2 docks, but they block one of them all the time. So I'm guessing I'll have to wait for this guy. All right, let me just mark time of arrival. I need to write down what time I arrive, what time I depart, and then I'll go show you the load quickly, and then I'll ask him maybe this one is open, but judging by that cart over there, that's like a little hint that that dock is unoperational. And that's what the small Caesars look like. You see it says 1930, so that means it can go up 19 feet and it's 30 inches wide, which is very important for people to know because they usually rent these when they have to go through some narrow passages, you know, narrow doors. And you see, that's how I put them together. So now all I have to do is just take one chain off and, well, release the second one, and just I can unload this one. I made a note that this comes off first at the first stop, and that will be for the second stop. So now we have to figure out when this guy is leaving, because, you know, it's a massive 53-foot trailer. If he's full, I can be here for 2 hours. So now I'm gonna go inside and ask how long I'm gonna be there, how long he's gonna be there. If it's a really long time, I'm gonna call the customer and ask if he really wants me to wait, because then we'll have to charge him for the waiting time, or maybe I can drop it on the sidewalk somewhere. Hold on. So I went inside, and the girl opened the door, and she says, yeah, that other dock is broken. And she says, this guy is not even here. I said, what do you mean? Is he loading or unloading? She says, no, he just parks his truck here, and the driver is not even here. I'm like, and so and she called her boss, and I guess he knows where they will be working. And the boss says, yeah, you can unload on the sidewalk. And then I said, I don't want to wait like 2 hours. I can drop here. So one done. One to go. Yeah, it turns out the guy was here. The guy who rented the machine. So now we head into the Chinook Mall. The machine is off center, but it's pretty light, and I'm not going that far. And I see he's driving through the main door. But sometimes when they say dock height, that means that they're working somewhere close to that area, and sometimes the management doesn't want them to drive through the store, you know, especially. Oh, pretty good nail, can be used again, especially when there's customers in the store, right? Okay, I wrote down the hours for that machine. And we are good to go. I just have to write down the time of departure. I'm gonna put the air back in the suspension. Beautiful. Yeah, I need to buy gloves. So I'm using these free shop gloves, but they're pretty much like one-time use only, because you don't want to drive with them, you know, they're being all dirty. So we have three choices. We can go south on 201, but then there's a 7-minute delay over here on Glenmore Trail. Yeah, that area is very bad, but it's still 40 minutes. Or we can go here 40 minutes, or we can go here 39 minutes, which is pretty much back to Deerfoot Trail and then south. But what happened to the other one? This one here, 40 minutes, because there's a slowdown there, even though it says 39. But then there's again a slowdown here. Oh yeah, when you take the Glenmore Trail exit, there's always a big slowdown there. Man, it's not good. Well, you know, it's early morning, it's bad everywhere. Well, now it says 40 minutes this way. Oh yeah, it was 40 minutes. I don't know. Let's go back
Head
to
toward Carrington Plaza Northwest, then turn right onto Carrington Plaza Northwest.
see the 39-minute line is red.
You're on the fastest route despite heavier than usual traffic. You will arrive at 8:28 a.m.
Why is it heavier than usual? Wednesday morning, May. I don't know. So we are good to go. And these shopping centers, right? They can be tricky to exit from,
Turn right onto Carrington Plaza Northwest.
because
then turn right
I know that if I go back the same way I came, I won't be able to turn left, and that's how I need to go left back to 201. And so you need to go here, because I know this area, right? I do, you know, Uber and sometimes DoorDash. Actually, this week it feels so liberating that I don't do Uber. You know, I'm kind of like rethinking the whole strategy of chasing $5 a day. Because normally when I do Uber after work, it takes like, let's say 2 hours, and if I'm lucky, I'll make 50 bucks. Like seriously. And 50 bucks usually means I do 50 kilometers. So I burn around 5 liters of gas, which is pretty much 10 bucks because it's $1.90. So, and that's why, you know, like I mentioned, I decided not to use the Durango because it's kind of like, you know, sitting in the back of my of my skull that I have Durango with full tank of gas, 100 liters of $2 per liter gas, you know, and it's mine to use because actually I filled it up before, right? And then the guy returned it with a full tank of gas. But if I use it, then I'll have to refill it again Friday. And so I said, that's it, yeah. We're gonna let the Durango be, and I'll see what's gonna happen with my Jeep. And so we're waiting for something to sell, but nothing is selling. Well, you know, I listed a bunch of stuff that I don't need, that I found lying around my home, because savings are grossly over exaggerated. But once something sells, especially that fancy lens, so I have two quotes, right, $450 each. But then once I have the money, I'm gonna start shopping in earnest. I'm gonna do maybe 3-4 more quotes online, especially from those windshield delivery guys, because of course they're gonna charge extra for a service call, but maybe the windshield is cheaper, you know. So if it's the same $450 and the guy comes to me, that will be better, right? Because then I don't have to do anything. I just come home from work, and let's say we arrange, you know, 5 p.m. The guy comes over, changes the windshield, does all the recalibration of the sensors over there. See, like here in this Freightliner, there's nothing. It's just plain windshield. There's no lane departure system. There's no adaptive cruise control. So this would be, even though it's much bigger, but this would be relatively cheap to replace. But modern cars are just nuts. Too much electronics, you know. But I do find that adaptive cruise control, you know, helpful. On the Durango I have it, but most of the time I use the regular cruise control there, because the way the buttons are set up, you know, it's easier to turn on the regular cruise control. But on the Jeep, by default, it's pretty much adaptive. And oh, I see a dispatcher sent me a, whenever I see attachment, it means that he has a pickup for me, because I only have 2 deliveries, right? So we'll do a pickup after.
Use the right lane to take the ramp to Alberta 201 East.
And so adaptive cruise control is great that the car, you know, you tell the car how far you want to be from the car in the front, right? I usually choose maximum, like, you know, I forget, like, I don't know, 100 feet, you know, 150 feet. And then if the car in front of me slows down, my car slows down. The only problem is, and it's very irritating, when somebody, because it's a big space, somebody jumps in ahead of me and they drive slower. And guess what? Right away the car slows down.
In 600 meters, merge on Alberta 201 East.
And so if you want to pass them, the car is now very slow, matching the speed of the car in front of me. And so if I go into the left lane, the car speeds up. I mean, basically a situation like that, you have to cancel the cruise control.
Continue on Alberta 201 East for 5 kilometers.
deer-foot trail for you. Early morning, there's always something. So whenever I can, I always take the bypass. But this time of the day, that Glenmore Trail is a big parking lot, no matter where you come from, the west or from the east. Because there's just so much traffic, you know, taking that exit, both from the Stony Trail and from Deerfoot. And this hospital, I talked about this before, like this building was standing empty for like, I don't know, 5-6 years. Finally they started working on it. Now I see the siding is back on, and the same name, Fuller Animal Hospital, is on. Same as before, except they couldn't finish construction before. I guess, my guess is somebody ran out of money. But now the crews are back on. They replaced the siding, all the glass is in. Now that's our competitor over there, Sunbelt Rentals. So these guys, they have all kinds of boom lifts, you know, like huge 40-50,000 pounds. You see them over there. They have big machines, big excavators, and the drivers use, most of the time they use 3-axle trucks. Like if it's a truck like this, you know, a rollback or tilt and load, they have 2 axles in the back, so they can take much more stuff. But then you need a driver with class 3. And actually I asked our bosses about this. I said, you guys ever thought about buying a bigger truck, so then, you know, we can load more machines, it can be more efficient? And they said, well, but then you need a class 3 driver, and it's not that easy to find them. Well, I said, I'm here, class 1, I can drive class 3, I can drive class 4, class 2, whatever. Which I mentioned before, that it's interesting that in Alberta, my class 1 allows me to drive big buses that I always wanted to try. But in Ontario, where I originally started my Canadian life, you need a separate class. Like AZ is for semi-trucks with trailers and air brakes, and DZ is class 3, but then for buses, I forgot, it's either B or F or something like that. And one cool thing about buses here, or you know, coaches, you know, those nice luxury vehicles that travel between cities, let's say Calgary to Edmonton, Calgary to Red Deer, they are allowed to operate at same speeds as cars. So for example, here it's 110, 68 miles per hour, so a bus can do that. Well, a truck can do that too here, because there's no limit for trucks, but quite often, you know, like trucks have separate speed limit. What I'm trying to say. In Alberta it's the same, but other jurisdictions you will see 2 numbers on the speed limit sign. One for trucks, one for everybody else. And so buses, you can go, you know, so much faster than a truck, I mean. Okay, usually when you go south, that's the first slowdown at Country Hills Boulevard, because too much traffic pours in. And then this is the entrance from Beddington Trail. Usually it's non-stop coming from there, which creates havoc. Because right away there's an exit lane for 64 Avenue, and so whoever wants to exit 64th Avenue has to fight with these guys coming from Beddington Trail, which is a very smart engineering solution. Thank you, City of Calgary. Lots of thought went into this, for sure. And the next big slowdown will be 16th Avenue. Maybe not. I see red lights already ahead. But usually it's 16th Avenue and then Memorial Drive. Because Memorial Drive, that's the exit you take to go downtown. Lucky for me, I'm going past all this all the way to Glenmore Trail. Okay, red lights, red lights, red lights. What is happening here? McKnight Boulevard exit. Big slowdown. Some semi-truck there with flashing lights. What's he doing? Oh, he was trying to change lanes to go McKnight Boulevard East. Yeah, this guy over here. All right, next 32nd Avenue. А я еду за туманом и за запахом тайги. I'm in a good mood because I found my mug and I saved $1 on the coffee. Actually, more than $1. Typically I paid $2.40 when I use their cup. Today I paid $1.05, so I saved $1.35. I'm a financial genius, you know, no matter how you look at it. Okay, 32nd Avenue is not too bad. No slowdown here. Next, 16th Avenue. That's the big one. Oh, that silver car in the front. I had that one exactly like that, Mazda 3. You know, I went to Moscow, Russia, and over there everybody's obsessed about your gas mileage. Even though the prices were cheaper, even now they're cheaper. The gas is way cheaper than here, but they're all obsessed. And so when my brother learned that I had a 5.7 liter, no, I had a Ford F-350. Yeah, like, see, like that silver Mazda. I had a Ford F-350 that I put in probably like $5 grand, doing some upgrades and updates and changing the axle ratio, mufflers, lights. It was a cool project. But I go to Russia for a visit when my mom was still alive, and everybody's crazy about gas mileage. And they want, you driving a 5.7 V8? Are you crazy? And so they kind of brainwashed me so much that when I came back, I took that Ford F-150 and I went to a Mazda dealer in Cambridge, Ontario. I said, I want a smaller vehicle, something with with good mileage. And so I got that 2-liter Mazda 3, which is like the cheapest one. And then a few years later I had another Mazda, also Mazda 3, but like top trim, which is called Sport. That one had a 2.5 liter engine. And right away you lose like 1 liter per 100 kilometers on average. Like if the 2-liter was, average was 8 liters per 100k, that Sport with 2.5 big engine was doing like 9. Yeah, see, this is Memorial Drive, so this always happens here. the lineup is like a kilometer long, and of course everybody sits on the bumper because they don't want to let people in. But here in this lane, everybody will try to jump into that lane because they don't have patience to sit in the in this lane. But it's very long. It goes on top of the hill and then downhill. So I was stuck here a couple of times, and it just, you see, like this guy, he's driving slow, looking for an opening. But over here, everybody parks 2 feet away from each other because they don't want. But you see, like this guy, he's sleeping, so somebody can jump in. I guarantee it. Like that Mercedes guy. Yeah, now he has his blinker on. You see, like very long lineup. And it's the same story if you're here trying to leave downtown, going east from Memorial towards Deerfoot, is the same story. The ramp there is like 2 kilometers long. Like, I mean, the traffic that you have to sit in. Yeah, everything is yellow, means slow traffic. Oh, I was here the other day. This is the zoo. The guy says, come to the west entrance. And I'm like, no idea where the west entrance is. So I came to the main entrance, and I see it says north. I'm like, okay, I have to go back across the river. So I went back because it's such a huge property. And sure enough, I found the west exit. I picked up a welder, a nice looking Mustang. But doesn't say 5.7 on the side, so I guarantee this either like a 4-cylinder, or they don't make 6-cylinder anymore. I had the last one that everybody on my channel hated for some reason. Should have bought a GT. So my 6-cylinder 305 horsepower was $22,000. A GT was $52,000. And I'm still wondering, why did I buy the 6-cylinder? I don't know. Maybe it had something to do with a $30,000 difference, but I'm not 100%. I don't know. Maybe I just was having a bad day. All right, here it's not a good idea to be in this lane, because this is 17th Avenue exit. There's always a nightmare over here. But it's too late. These guys are moving too fast. I cannot just jump in front of them. Well, maybe I can. No. They're moving too fast, and there are no big gaps between them. Man, so I'm stuck here now. Because of this guy. Unless he takes this exit, why is he in this lane, you know? Son of a gun. Oh, a guy with a double drop. Oh, Sheltima trailer. I know those bastards. They're in Woodstock, Ontario. No, this is like, I have to go here. And why is it happening over here? I'll tell you why. Another brilliant engineering decision by City of Calgary, where the entrance ramp is the same as the exit ramp. Always makes people happy, you know? So the guys in that lane are fighting these guys who are trying to leave. Foot trail. two, black and red. And this is the Pagan Trail, Barlow Trail South. And there's no point to rush after this because we're gonna be sitting for 2 hours in the exit ramp for Glenmore Trail. Plus it's a construction zone, speed limit 80. But here if you take this exit there's a bunch of truck stops. Road King, Petro Pass, and then there's a Flying J, which is next, I think, next exit. Yeah, next, where is it?
Take exit 248 for Glenmore Trail.
That big red sign, that Road King Travel Center, which means truck stop. Here we go. And I see up ahead traffic is stopped. And now we're gonna play the same game here as people played in the Memorial Drive intersection there. So we're gonna all sit on each other's bumpers so that we don't let strangers in between. Well, it's a game, you know. If I had a 4x4, I could probably go on that bicycle trail over there. I'll go here, save a couple of minutes. Actually, I was on that trail. I want to go again because it's a very nice trail along the river, like 20 kilometers from what's the name of that park? It's near 17th Avenue and 9th Avenue. There's a park, and you follow these dedicated bike trails all the way south. I remember it was called Annie's Cafe, where you can buy you know, Americano, coffee, stuff like that. You see like this guy? No, it's too early for him. They don't want to get in here because then they still have to drag their asses another 5 minutes. So they all will try to jump in after this turn where it's like a finishная прямая, the last straight line. But of course the danger, you know, when you're in a truck, like I'm still, even though it's a small truck, but it's still much heavier than a regular vehicle, so I need to be able to stop, right, if the traffic stops. So I don't want to be too close, but I have my exhaust brake on, so as soon as I take my foot off the throttle it starts braking. But it's not a very good exhaust brake, like, you know, compared to, let's say, my last K-Whopper Kenworth, where there was 3 stages. I love the exhaust brake on that Cummins. 605 horsepower, 2050 torque. It was a monster. Alright, so we'll probably take 10-15 minutes to get to get to the exit. But this is again another brilliant solution by traffic engineers. So out of 3 lanes we're losing 1 because this one is only for exit, and we have only 1 lane. Look how much traffic. There's always Glenmore Trail. There's like thousands of vehicles exit. Why do we have only 1 lane? So there should be 5 lanes here. 3 for these guys, 2 for these guys. But nobody cares, you know? Like, and there's every second day there's accidents here. Why? Because of these people. Well, people are in a hurry. They try to get in. These people try to push them out. Boom. Like honestly, every second day, especially at the very last meters before the exit, because people are driving in this lane, nobody lets them in. They get really upset and stressed out, and they don't, and they like deer, you know, like deer runs across the road. They just try to go in here because that's it. If they keep going, they'll have to turn around and do like a 5-kilometer loop, you know. But yeah, this is just nuts. And they do have huge shoulder here and some ground. They could have easily made part of this highway, but then of course there's this little bridge in here. Yeah, this definitely should be wider. I see people in the front. Everybody has their right blinker on. No, nobody's getting ahead of me. I can guarantee you that. You see, the guy is getting behind me. In the States, you often see when something like this happens, and let's say I'm in a semi-truck. Of course, technically you can get a ticket for this. But what some semi-trucks do, they would go in the middle, you know, because they're so big, right? They're wider than me, and so they would just straddle the zipper, kind of like blocking that lane. But then, if a cop sees that, you can easily get a ticket because you're blocking traffic. Yeah, another guy with a blinker. Get lost. Oh yeah? Let's see how you can squeeze in. He'll get in eventually, because people are afraid that he will, you see, like he gets in. It would be real easy for me to get in, because I could scare people with my truck, which is much bigger than a Hyundai Sonata, you know. But I don't want to do that. I'm never that guy, you know. Like, why do you have to be any better than everybody else? Get the heck in the end of the line, you know. Just wait, be patient. I can see they're all getting in. Oh, another guy. Even a pickup, a dump truck. Fuck off. See, that's what I could have done. Right away, somebody brakes because they're afraid of him. But that's idiotic behavior. Oh, nice little dozer working on the right. Komatsu 65PX. what I've been trying to do for the past 20 minutes, you stupid Google. Finally. We made it. Oh, pile driver. No, wait, that's a crane. Sorry, my bad.
Slight right onto the Glenmore Trail West ramp, then merge onto Alberta 8 West.
Yeah, I'll try something different next time, you know, because this thing does not work when you're in the right lane. Trying to squeeze people out, they still get in, and you waste your time.
Continue on Alberta 8 West for 1.5 kilometers.
And the pickup they send me is for same scissor, you know, same size, 19 footer that I'm picking up at Chinook Mall. Just around the corner where I'm dropping off this one. Grass is already green. I saw sirene. I think it's called lilac or something. This one.
Take the Center Street exit, then turn right onto Center Avenue East, Center Street South.
And the Chinook Mall is right there on the other side. But first we'll go drop this one. I think I delivered that one. I just have to remember where. I think I delivered that one near the movie theater where those two columns are. That yellow building. I'll have to look at the notes on the paperwork. I see that I'm turning left in like 2 lights. As soon as I see that, right away I change lanes, so that I don't have to do it at the last moment. Once I did a photo shoot somewhere here. I think it was this patio place. No, it was a place where they sell billiard tables and I think fireplaces. And the guy hired me for, it was like a corporate Christmas, you know, shoot where he also invited all his previous customers.
Turn left onto 58th Avenue Southwest.
And I know exactly where I'm dropping off. I've been to this place like probably 3 times before.
Turn left onto 58th Avenue Southwest.
Yeah, these guys are doing they're renovating. It's pretty much like a store or, you know, industrial space. And I've delivered here big and small scissor lifts, so this time they want a small one. So I know that I have to go in the back, and I can drop it on the near the big bay door, unless they're already in, or sorry, on site. And then they can just open the door and I can go in there. So there's a LRT station here somewhere. And if you're looking for a good exhaust shop, over there on the left, there's a place called Calgary Muffler. I've been there probably 3 times. They're expensive, but they do a very good work. You know, it looks like factory. So they installed, they removed the mufflers on this Jeep I have, and then they installed Super 10 Flowmasters, and then I went there again with the Durango when I asked him to remove resonators and give me the H-pipe. And so now I have the amazing sound from the H-pipe. And on the Durango I didn't touch the mufflers. The mufflers are still factory, but they sound like really nice under, like it's quiet when you drive, you know, normal speed, but once you push the throttle, it really growls. Okay, so it's that white building over there, but I know I have to go in the back. So I have to, this is 1A, and I have to go, oh, these guys have a stop sign, okay. Yeah, it's that corner space, corner unit. But here, because there's some construction going on, there's always cars here. The construction guys park their vehicles here. Yeah, I have to drop it somewhere here. Let's see if I can just back in there. Flashing lights on. That should be good enough, as long as I'm away from the road. Stop number 2. And the second place where I got the quote, they reached out asking if I want to proceed. And the first place was called Windshield Surgeons, and the second one I found was Auto Glass. What is it called? Glass Masters. And so what's interesting is that the quote they gave me, it says price $249.99. That's the actual price of the glass. Calibration $169.99. So basically the glass is $250, calibration is $170, more than 50% of the cost of the glass. Environmental fee, of course you gotta have that, $4.50. And of course we have shop supplies, $6.50, for the total of $430.98. And then our convenient GST, goods and sales tax, is $21.55 for the total of $452.53. And I told them that I'm interested. I said I'm looking for funds. I'll be in touch. And they said no worries, the quote is valid for 90 days. Well, finally finished loading this scissor. I was here 10 to 9 and there's nobody on site. The movie theater is closed and the machine was somewhere inside on the dock here and inside this loading area. You know, our customer gave me the phone number for the local contact, but the paperwork says he's gonna be there at 9. So I call him at 9 and he says he's still 20 minutes away. And then he showed up and it took, and I see a gentleman came out and then he brought the machine out from somewhere deep inside the movie theater, so it took him another 10 minutes. So by the time I finished, interesting, here it says straight, right? Over there it says left. Like, you cannot go straight here. Nuts. All right. So now, yeah, I'm not going back on Deerfoot Trail. Forget it.
At the light, turn right onto Glenmore Trail Southwest. Then
We're gonna take the best route back to the shop, which is Glenmore Trail West to Stony Trail. See, Glenmore Trail West. Okay. Now I have to let these guys go here.
keep left.
And I cannot see when these guys have red. I don't know why they always put these stupid. Okay, now it's green for me. They always put these stupid, you know, protrusions on lights so that you cannot see them from the side. Well, I guess they do it so that they're clear, they're easier to see from the front, but in my opinion, I thought they always try to do that so that people don't cheat. You know how you sit on the side and you watch the other light to see when it's turning, you know, yellow and then a red, so you can go. But I think, yeah, they do it kind of like same reason they do it on the railroad or railway, where all the lights have these kalpaki, you know, like the hood. So it makes the light brighter, I think. Okay, check this out. I'm doing 80 kilometers an hour. The cop in the left lane goes away much faster. No lights, nothing. They don't care. I'm guessing if... Oh, actually I'm now at 70, okay. I'm guessing he's doing at least 100. But who's gonna stop police, right? So yeah, now we just follow this. This is the Glenmore Reservoir. There's a nice park over here with lots of trails. And I often see people walking and jogging right next to the road. Like there's a lady walking a dog. Yeah, it's a good area. You can do like circles here, like 20-30 kilometers on a bike, you know. You see how slow it is this way? Because I was considering taking this route, like 201 and then Glenmore Trail east towards the Chinook Center, like originally. But I saw how busy it was on Google Maps. So this is the first run. Wow, I'm gonna be home at the shop at 10:20. Well, because it was far, but also it took like 30 minutes to get the scissor lift here. So I'll make notes. Actually, I did make notes. I said arrived at the movie theater at 8:53. Finished loading 9:48. You know, not my fault. But normally they don't like us sitting so long. But I sent a message. You know, when the guy told me that he's still 20 minutes away, I sent a message to my dispatch saying that I'm delayed. A guy is still not here. So, you know, so they know what's going on. Communication, right? Always is the key in the transportation industry. And it's windy today. So plus 10, easy to convert to Fahrenheit, is 50 F. Because 0 Celsius is 32 F and 10 Celsius is 18F, so 32 plus 18, 50.
Left 2 lanes to keep left.
This is one of the few numbers where it's easy. 10 Celsius, 50F. Well, another one I think is 20 Celsius, it becomes 68F, or roughly 70.
Keep left.
Well, no need shouting, like what's wrong with it?
For about 35 miles,
Oh,
continue
that's better. Actually, I noticed that this iPhone, it's getting these intermittent problems with volume. You know, 1 minute it's shouting at me at maximum volume, then it goes down and you can hardly hear it. So one of these days I'll need to get it replaced. Very windy, that's that sound. The cruise is set at 100 kilometers an hour, which is the speed limit. 62.15 miles per hour. Another reason why I started gaining weight is I started feeling hungry in the morning, and I would go to McDonald's or A&W and get a breakfast sandwich. And I just googled how many calories in bacon egger muffin sandwich from A&W. And turns like it's like 400. So you eat that tiny baby sandwich, and in order to erase those calories, you would have to do Nordic walking for probably an hour, and regular walking probably 2 hours. Just too many calories, you know, and that's even without cheese. The real culprit is bread, muffins, you know, donuts, all that stuff. Well, I loaded this ditch witch with a smooth bucket and had my lunch break. Now we're heading to northeast. But first we have to get some fuel, because again this truck has I really need to buy some gloves. So diesel today 202, up from $1.84 a week ago. 87 gas, $1.85.9, 89 $0.2.9, 91 $2.11.9, and 94 $2.17.9. Well, the pump shut down at 100.1 liters, but we can still add a bit more, because after this I'm going deep south So 118.4 liters cost us $240.26. I know people in England are crying right now watching this awesome price, which is still much higher than 3 months ago. Well, my instructions say ground rear alley delivery, and the problem with rear alley delivery is that
Your destination is on the left.
quite often they don't have numbers. Like this one, look, this one has a number, but okay, well, I guess I should see some construction materials. These guys they create some rocks. So okay, and often what helps is that when I see this, you know, like I'm keep driving and it shows me where my house is. Okay, that's my guy. All right, cool. Well, just delivered my machine. The customer is trying to get up the hill. It's pretty steep in there, and I warned him. I said these are easy to tip over, so if it tips over, and like actually our paperwork says if it tips over, don't try to restart it, just call us right away, because if you try to restart it or set it upright, man, I should probably tell them that it's much better you have to back, because it's very steep in there and this machine is heavy in the back, and so it's always best, like when I load them, I always back on the bed, because the bed is like this. If I try to go forward, it tries to tip over, you know, so I always turn around and I go back. So maybe I should go tell them. Because it's very, well, maybe he'll figure it out. Maybe he'll turn around. Uh-oh, there's a lady with a dog behind me. Let's see, he cannot. Look at this beauty. What is that, cherry tree? Oh no, apple, I think it's an apple tree. I'm not a big connoisseur of biology. Alright, we're still in that secret backwood alley. It's kind of like feels interesting, kind of like a secret mission. Look, people have some, you see, no numbers. Like it's very rare to see a number on the gate. Okay, this guy just used a big flamaster Sharpie, but as he was writing that, his gate dropped in. That's not good. Probably a very big Sharpie. Actually, my boss, the dispatcher, has a Sharpie like this. He says, I love it. To hold it, you almost have to use your entire fist. It's too big. All right, now we're out of here. I'm supposed to go this way, yeah, because that's 14th Street, but there's no way to stop there. You cannot stop within 5 meters of the stop sign. I guess I'll just go in here. I just have to set my wanted to say cruise control. Oh, there's a circle here, I think. Oh yeah, perfect. See, there's a little thing. Very unusual for Calgary, where you can actually turn around, because local cops are obsessed with giving tickets for illegal U-turns. Wow, so I'm going to the lift place where our RT lift sits, the one that I dragged, you know, they released the wheels, because the machine was able to start, but it wasn't moving. Like the wheels were not turning, nothing. And so I dragged it. Once they released the wheels, they were free wheel. I was able to winch it up and took it to a shop on Wrangler Road, you know, at the very bottom of Calgary. So from here it's 26 kilometers.
Northbound Drive northwest. Head toward Commuter Drive northwest.
So I'm guessing we're going.
150 meters. Turn right onto 14th Street northwest.
Oh shoot, there's no left turn.
Turn right onto 14th Street northwest. Then turn left onto Northbound Drive northwest.
There's no left turn. Yeah, I have to get back to McKnight Boulevard and go back to Deerfoot and go south. Well, it's getting hot. What is it, plus 11?
At the light, turn left onto Northbound Drive northwest.
So we'll just follow this nice pink blue bus. Did I mention all these run on propane here? I mean, sorry, natural gas. NG. But I don't see a sign on this one. Must be under this advertising. There's a cool coffee shop here. I once was doing Uber and dropped somebody at Subway in this plaza over here. You know, Subway sandwich shop. And I dropped the lady off. This was like early Sunday, so she was opening.
Northbound Drive northwest for 1 kilometer.
I guess she was opening the store. Is it this plaza? Yeah, over there, Subway. And right next to the Subway there's a Global Leaf Cannabis, but no, I did not go there. I went to the Bullet. That's an interesting name. The Bullet Coffee House. And they make, like, you know, Americano, like fancy drinks. They're actually a bit more money than at Starbucks. And that Bullet Coffee House has like 2 tables. It's so tiny, so small, but I was waiting there at like 5 to 8, or maybe 2 to 8. A girl showed up, opened the door, turned on the lights, and then the sign open flickered, and I was just sitting there waiting for my rides. You know, after that I dropped off that lady at the Subway, and I thought, hey, this is perfect. So I went inside, I got some fancy Americano. Oh, this is a beautiful ride. Now, John from England, you always say that we don't have trees. Look at this. Beautiful. Well, okay, there's a field, never mind that. Just, we're gonna pass it very quickly. Oh, another one on the left, shoot. Oh, trees, trees, trees. Good for birds. This one? No, next one. Of course, whenever there's school, we have these beautiful signs, 30 kilometers an hour. And they're not just active, you know, during school days. Like in some places, it would say school days only. No, here in Calgary, it's always 7:30 to, what is it, 9? And this is a King George School. Looks very old. Probably built in 60s or 70s, last century. my friend is arguing me because of beer. I asked, yesterday I had a couple of beers, and then I look at calories, and like, holy moly, one beer is, regular beer, 5%, 500 ml, like a medium-sized can, not like the huge one, right? But not the small one either. 200 calories. So you have two of those. You need to do hiking for an hour to cancel those calories, And if you have a sandwich with cheese and bacon, that's another 600 calories, And so I asked AI, I said, what's considered to be the best light beer? And the AI gave me a list, and I took a screenshot and I sent it to this guy, and he's like arguing with me. He's like, what's the point? If I want to have a beer, I'll have hazy IPA. And I said, well, it's because there's too many calories. And so AI says it all depends on your taste profile, but the general consensus, when they do testing in blind groups, where they put blindfolds on people and lead them in a dark room and then pour them beer, the best results from these blind tests is Miller Lite. Miller Lite. And close second place is Coors Light. And then at the bottom of that list, they name Michelob Ultra, of course. Michelob Ultra. And then they said, if you are in Calgary, consider visiting one of local breweries, because they have lots of light beer choices. But yeah, I saved that thing on my phone, because you know how you can do a screenshot and then you can save it to your photos. And so I have a list of those beers, because there was a couple of more I'm not familiar with, also like light beer, but kind of like craft beer, but still light on calories. I forgot what it's called, but I saved it. So tonight after work, I'm gonna go to my local beer store and investigate which of those light beers they have. Because yeah, I'm already fat. I don't want to get fatter, more fat. Wow, that girl has a bunch of tattoos, on her arm, on her neck. Like, where are we going? What the heck? Why didn't go to McKnight Boulevard? This crazy thing. Edmonton Trail? Wow. So I'm turning on Edmonton Trail in 500 meters. Calypso's Tavern, should be Tavern, Greek Culinary Diner. No, wait, it says Greek Culinary Dinner. Lots of restaurants in Calgary, actually. That's what it makes it fun. Like, you can find all kinds of food here. Vietnamese, Japanese, Greek, Indian, Pakistan, Turkey, Israel, Lebanon, African. Like, I'm serious. Lots of Chinese, of course. Korean. I went once to this Korean barbecue place. Very interesting. But the largest ratio of restaurants here are probably Indian and Chinese, because there's so many people from those countries here. I don't know a single Russian restaurant. I don't think. I know a couple of stores, like grocery stores, where they sell European groceries like Ukrainian, Russian, Polish. But and honestly, I don't feel like going to a Russian restaurant. You know, it's much more interesting to go to something like Indian or Mexican. I had Russian food for when I left Russia in 97. So I had Russian food for 35 years. So that's more than enough. Okay, yellow for those guys. I guess we can go. Yeah. Another Ford Raptor. I don't know how people can afford this, but I see so many of these on the road, you know. They're probably easily 100 grand. Okay, that's what I thought. He wants me to go on Highway 16 through all the lights.
At the light, turn left onto Trans-Canada Highway, Alberta 1 East.
Okay, Esso $83.9, and on the other side we have Petro Canada 7-Eleven, same $83.9, which is still 5 cents cheaper than in our area where our shop is. It's funny, all kids have ice, what looks like cappuccino. Iced cappuccino, every one of them. They don't want to drink hot coffee. Well, it's plus 13. Yeah, another competitor. He has a 3-axle truck. These are called rental guys. And they say free delivery. I wonder how they can afford that. But that's a nice truck. Same Freightliner, but 2 axles in the back and heavy duty steer axle, because I can see the tires are much wider than mine. So I'm guessing that doesn't look like a 20K, but probably 16K. And his bed is longer than mine. So I know these guys can load, you know, he can load like 4 or 5 scissor lifts, you know, a bunch of equipment. Of course, it's more work, but it's a heavier truck. I don't know. For me, it would be more fun to drive something like that, to be honest with you. Yeah, you see, it's a Freightliner, nice metal, rentalguys.ca. They're somewhere in this area. Also, we have Herc Rentals. They have big equipment, massive boom lifts, you know, large excavators, like a real size. And so one guy went this way, and you see the green truck. Is that Sunbelt or is it rental guys? See, like this truck coming on the left. Yeah, it's the same, rental guys, because it has 2 axles in the back. And but Sunbelt, I think they're green as well. Huh. Might be Sunbelt, I don't know. But yeah, there's so many of these equipment rental companies, but they all kind of like different. We are, you know, our company, Rogers Rental, we kind of like in a niche market where we have a bunch of different types of equipment, but on a smaller scale that other places probably don't have, you know, like some, you know, generators, AC units, you know, propane tanks, heaters, you know, cement, concrete mixers, I don't know, all kinds of kind of like, you know, weird small equipment. And then all these little loaders where you stand behind, like just the one like I delivered. But we also have, you know, skid steers, mini excavators, telehandlers, forklifts, but a lot of small stuff like those super lifts. You don't see many rental agencies carry them, you know, super lift, because it's so small and you can just lift, I don't know, 200-300 pounds to like 16-20 feet, you know, if you need to, without any propane or engine. It just, you use the lever and cable. So those are quite popular actually, because I deliver a lot of those. And then of course we have pressure washers, we have those vacuums, you know, like industrial vacuum where people work in insulation inside. But yeah, I would say now this type of year, when people do landscaping and stuff, very popular are these little loaders, just like the one I delivered, and then skid steers. And it's been a while since I delivered an excavator, but of course probably number one always year round is scissor lifts. Those are really popular. But the one I'm picking up now, it's RT, a rough terrain scissor lift. It has like very big tires with big tread. And the word is why it stopped working is that they found some animal nest, you know, probably some rats or something inside, and they chew on cables and wires. And so the electric signal got lost in the translation between the animal and the human, and the machine died. Like, it would start, but nothing, wheels don't turn, and they don't turn left and right, like don't steer, and don't go forward and reverse. So it's useless. And yeah, and it would not go up and down either. So like, what's the point of a scissor lift, right, when it cannot go up? Like, that's why people rent them. What? What's going on? Parking brake not set. My bed is on the ground and it says the parking brake is not set. Usually that's when the door is open, but it's not in drive, it's in parking brake, PB, and this one is pulled out. Man, weird. Probably moisture got somewhere, I don't know. So that's our RT scissor, and I waited a bit because it started raining all of a sudden with some flakes of snow. Oh man, I hate this. But I'll have to get in there to put the key in. Come on, get in the belly. Now, as my luck would have it, right away a guy would show up to pull one of the trailers that I'm blocking. Because these guys, this lift specialists, they share the yard with Arnold Brothers Transport. Now man, this machine, can be so tricky. So I had some trouble when I just started working here. Because it has these outriggers. the chain slots. You know, the chain slot, because I can only tie down there, so I'm trying to put the machine in between the two chain slots, so the space here is similar to that one. But now it looks like it's work. It should be fine. Well, still a bit crooked, but this is not a trade show. This is a real life pickup, boys and girls. Yeah, I see like this chain slot. Boom, boom, boom. This machine is super easy to tie down. What I usually do is I put the binder in the middle. You see, like this. Boom. Boom. So 50% of work is done. And one more chain in the back. Now, what is the chance of that? So, same idea here. Boom, boom, boom. And this one ran out of thread, so you might want to tighten down the front. Should be okay. Oh, and the sun is out. Unbelievable. It was raining pretty bad just 10 minutes ago. See, something is going on. What the? I'm not in gear. What do you want? Can you believe this? Are you telling me now I won't be able to raise my bed? Yeah, always turn off PTO before shutting down the engine. Once I shut it down with PTO on, and then we were not able to restart the truck, because when PTO is on, like, it can mess up with your something. It messed up with something. Okay, come on, let's get out of here. See? see, there's something with the PTO. Come on, you can do it. Yeah, I'm afraid to increase the RPM because for some reason the computer thinks I'm in drive mode. So now I'm just idling. It's very slow, of course. Okay, not beeping anymore. All right. Let's just check if the bed sits properly. Yeah, it looks like some moisture got in or something, you know, because of the rain. Unbelievable. PTO off, remote off. Just have to clean my hands a little bit here. I'm gonna buy glass tonight after work because this is not good. Each time, look at this. Because all these chains, binders, they're all dirty. Oh wow, we're still recording, huh? It's because I was charging this, you know, as I was driving. When I was not recording, I plugged it in, and I really love it that it's pretty much, it's the same charger now for Android phone or for my new iPhone or for GoPro, you know. Oh, by the way, we have to yeah, 35 clicks. Okay. Now I have to charge this, otherwise it's gonna die on me. And this is old style iPhone, so it uses this one. "35 clicks, 26 minutes. All right, let's go. Yeah, so some crazy rats got in and they chewed the wires. So probably it's a good idea to keep these machines, you know, inside. Yeah, and these guys have been in business for a very long time. I remember when I was getting my AZ Class 1 license, and then when I was looking for work, I remember these guys and these guys, Bison Transport. And of course, they were in existence long before then. So these companies are probably like, I don't know, 50 years old. And somehow they still make money. I don't know. Bison. You guys ever tried bison meat? Our A&W a couple of years ago, they had a promotion. So you know, the same burger, Papa, Mama, Grandpa, that you can get, you had the choice of beef, regular, or bison.
Turn right onto 84th Street Southeast.
And I loved it so much, and then it disappeared because it was just a temporary thing, you know. And I keep asking them, are you guys bringing back the bison burger? They say, we don't know. So it was kind of like a
3.5 kilometers. Turn left onto Paygan Trail Southeast.
Canadian headquarters decided to, and it was only here in Western Canada. So remember, I was coming here, let's say I deliver a load from Ontario, and I was in Alberta, and that's where I saw these bison burgers. No, they're really nice, you know. They're different taste, much better than regular beef. Peterbilt. I hope the guy knows that he has no trailer on the back. Probably lost it somewhere. Now this road, I think it's some kind of avenue, but interesting that there's no ramp to Stony Trail, to 201. What is this? 61 Avenue, 61st Avenue. Yeah, it goes, that bridge over there, kind of like a big hill, goes right over the Stony Trail, the bypass that I have to get on. Oh, this guy has a Ontario plate, TST Express, TFI International Company. So another very old carrier, and you see it's in French, so I think they're from Quebec. Now that lane is only for right turn, I think. This one is left turn and straight. I can see downtown from here. Looks very dark, very sinister. Kind of like Chicago, you know. Okay, green, yes sir. Yeah, so we need the next exchange, which is I think it's Paygan Trail, and that one has a ramp to go north on 201. Some guy has been trying to sell this Ford F350, I believe. So it's been sitting here, I don't know, for the past 2 years. This one on the left. Nice looking unit, with a for sale sign stuck in the window.
In 1 kilometer, turn left onto Paygan Trail Southeast.
Yes, Miss Google. Sorry, Miss Apple. I'm using Apple Maps. Just for once. Yeah, I see we have this mini, no wait, that's not an excavator, that's some kind of a weird combo between a farm tractor and a mini excavator.
Go past this light, then at the next one, turn left.
Now the next one, there's two lanes turning left. We need
At the light,
this one.
use the middle lane to turn left onto Peihan Trail Southeast.
Yeah, I see it says middle lane. Because the ramp to 201 will be on the right. Container chassis, Hyundai. Man, come on.
Turn left, then keep right to merge onto Highway 201 North.
Are you waiting till the green arrow stops blinking, or what's your deal? Mr. Freightliner, Columbia.
Use the
Stony
right
Trail,
lane to keep
north.
right to merge onto Highway 201 North.
Коксу, Коля, давай! Я не могу, ну мужик впереди, ну ты видишь, не хочет ехать, зараза.